what the hell is a Land Dweller?
This is a revolutionary shift in mechanical watchmaking for a brand of this scale.
It's the Swiss watch industry. They were in a panic over the weekend.
Well, as you were saying, our reporting shows that the Swiss are optimistic they'll get this rate down to 15%, which would bring it into line with the EU, and obviously a significant amount of relief there.
2025 began this year the same way it begins every year, with a Rolex price increase, approximately 1% on stainless steel models, and precious metals being hit with the hardest, 7 to 19% for solid gold pieces. Oris released another Muppets Pro Pilot, this time with Miss Piggy. Vacheron Constantin celebrates 270 years of watchmaking, kicking off the party with the return of the 222 in stainless steel. Omega released the Speedmaster Moon Phase Meteorite, the most moon watch I've ever seen in my life. Tudor introduced a flamingo blue in the Daring collection. Otsuka Lotech released the No. 5 Kai. I'm not sure if you follow this brand or Jiro Katayama, but these are very cool and should be talked about more. Louis Vuitton released Drag Hour Tambour Convergence, showing how much LV is dedicating to their watchmaking division. The Bulgari Serpenti finally adds a mechanical variation. I'm surprised it took them this long, and it's an awesome addition to the lineup. February was the month of Grand Seiko, releasing the SLGH027 in ever brilliant steel, and then, a few days later, the SBGH351 and SBGH353. Omega introduces the Milano Cortina 2026 for the Winter Games. It's 37mm and gorgeous. Bulgari and MB&F collaborate on their interpretation of the Serpenti. I said it was the month of Grand Seiko. The Cherry Blossom returns with the SBGH 368, the 62 GS case in rose gold with a creamy, dreamy cherry blossom dial. Omega launched the Seamaster Diver 300 in bronze gold and burgundy. Milanese bracelet seems to be the theme of the year with Omega bracelets. These look awesome. Punchy price. And Citizen launches the Soyotsa 37mm. In March, Fears and Studio Underd0g team up to make the Gimlet. This was only available for purchase at British Watchmakers Day in London and limited to 200 pieces. Breitling introduces the B19 Navitimer Perpetual Calendar Chronograph in stainless steel. Making a perpetual calendar chronograph is a huge flex. Making it available for $29,000 is insane. Massive credit to Breitling. The Mad 2 is unveiled, inspired by DJs and turntables, and it is delightful. TAG Heuer show off their Formula 1 clocks as they return as the official timekeeper. Richemont appoints a new head of Panerai who can hopefully steer the brand into calmer waters. Resence debuts their first GMT in the Type 7. Resence make incredible watches with oil-filled dials, some of the most unique watches out there. Breitling introduces a new manufacturer caliber with the B31 through the new Top Time, so the DNA of the Top Time now in a three-hander. And finally, Rolex Land Dweller leaks start making the rounds ahead of Watches and Wonders. April. Deep breath in, buckle up, this is going to be a long month. It's Watches and Wonders. Watches and Wonders came early this year. Everything was meant to be announced at 8 a.m. April 1st, but strangely came at midnight instead. TAG Heuer announces the return of the Formula 1 Solargraph, now updated to 38mm, and a price point that had a lot of people scratching their heads. They also released a Monaco split-second chronograph that looks a lot like the Canadian flag. Cartier reintroduces the Cartier Tank Agouche. I was obviously very excited about this. I love a jump hour. I love Cartier. Fantastic addition to the current catalog. IWC Ingenieur goes smaller, now 35mm. Parmigiani Fleurier released the Torque Perpetual Calendar, and this duck egg blue stole the show for me. Grand Seiko unveiled the most accurate mechanical watch with the UFA, SLGB 001 and 003, and finally add micro adjustment to their bracelet. Zenith unveil a bunch of beautiful blue watches for their 160-year anniversary, with my favorite being the GFJ. Chopard Alpine Eagle goes platinum. Patek Philippe offers smaller sizes of the Cubitus, 40mm case diameter, only in precious metal. Boo. You may or may not have heard, but the Land Dweller. Rolex introduced a new model family, taking the spirit of the oyster quartz, but positioned between the Datejust and Day Date in the modern catalog. Some big updates happened here. Aesthetically, we have a honeycomb dial, new flat link bracelet, and the movement is entirely new. At least 32 patent applications are attributed to the Land Dweller, with 18 of those exclusive to this movement. The Rolex 1908 is now available in yellow gold on bracelet. A new turquoise dial Daytona looks amazing. Rolex also unveiled new pastel oyster perpetuals that are so pretty, and I really want the lavender purple one. The Le Mans Daytona received a quiet update from yellow gold to rose gold. Tudor introduces a new model family with the Black Bay 68, and the Black Bay 58 Burgundy is added. They also added the Pelagus Ultra, which might be the best watch in the Tudor catalog at the time of filming. NOMOS were the talk of the town with the Club Sport World Timer, this time only 8 colors, perfectly executed. Bravo, NOMOS Glashütte. Frédéric Constant refuses to be ignored, releasing a perpetual calendar that looks amazing and somehow retails for under $10,000. Alonga und Sonne introduces the Odysseus in honey gold, and the 1815 shrinks down, now available in 34mm. Ulysse Nardin create the world's lightest dive watch. Hublot unveils 3 new colors of the Big Bang Unico chronograph, and I like them so much. Please don't unsubscribe. They look like they taste good. Norqain showcased the 39mm Wild One skeletonized. I was really excited about these. They're so cool. Bremont continues to grow the MB collection, and I don't hate it. Christopher Ward and the C12 logo, maybe one of my favorite Christopher Wards ever. May. In May, Louis Vuitton released some weird high horology watches, and I can't tell if I love them or hate them. Tudor debuts the Black Bay Chrono Carbon 25 and the Pelagus FXD Chrono in pink for Giro d'Italia. The US threatens Switzerland with a 31% tariff, but Switzerland attempts to talk the tariff down to 10%. Vacheron Constantin continues their 270-year celebration with a grand complication open face with tourbillon, minute repeater, perpetual calendar. Omega updates the Seamaster Railmaster. It was just the refresh this line needed. MB&F unveil their slimmest and smallest watch yet with the Special Project 1, 38mm, probably my favorite model of theirs to date. Swiss watch imports balloon as retailers rush to receive stock before the tariffs hit. In June, a new CEO was appointed at Longines, Patrick Owen, a long-term Swatch Group executive. Breitling have a serious revamp of the Super Ocean Heritage with smaller, slimmer cases. Ferrer refreshes the Aqua Compressor line with 3 new models. Tudor continues to update the Daring line with the brand new Black Bay 54 Blue Lagoon. Lots of polishing, very cool. Armin Strom updates the Gravity Equal Force Ultimate Sapphire Blue. Breguet debuts their first ever flying tourbillon in the Classique Tourbillon Sideral 7255. And finally, Tudor unveils the Pelagus FXD Chrono in yellow for Tour de France. By July, my brain was broken by Vacheron introducing hand guilloche illustrations of the zodiac signs for a 12-piece limited series. Omega unveils a Seamaster Diver 300 in orange. A lot of watch geeks really like it, but I feel meh about it. IWC and the Top Gun Miramar in ceramic and steel, maybe one of my favorite executions of the color blue. August begins with President Trump threatening a 39% tariff on Swiss imports, and on August 7th, it was officially implemented. Taylor Swift is spotted in a discontinued Cartier Santos Demoiselle in her engagement photos. Christopher Ward unveils the 660, or as I like to call it, the Christopher Ward Jumbo, incredibly thin at 6.6mm. September was Geneva Watch Days, one of the best watch events. New releases from Zenith, Moser, Bulgari, Oris, and Bamford. Rolex hosts President Trump at the US Open final, with photos of Jean-Frédéric Dufour with the President of the US. Rumor has it that the President mentioned he was in need of a desk clock. Audemars Piguet re-released the Royal Oak Perpetual Calendar in 38mm, and the Code 1159 was slimmed down to 9.9mm. Hermes introduces 2 new colorways for the H08. Studio Underdog and Fears team up again for another cocktail-inspired watch. This time it is the Manhattan, only available at the Wind Up Watch Fair in New York. Timex starts up a more upmarket, luxurious line of watches called the Timex Atelier, and this was their first model, the Marine M1A. NOMOS close out the month with more Club Sport Neomatic World Timers, the Vector, Grid, and Trace, inspired by night navigation. Audemars Piguet begins the month of October with the introduction of the Royal Oak Jumbo Extra Thin Self-Winding Flying Tourbillon Chronograph RD number 5. This is crazy. This is crazy. For people who think AP shouldn't be in the Holy Trinity anymore, I present to you this. Longines update the Spirit Pilot with the Spirit Time Only, being a 3-hander, no stars at 6 o'clock, and the Spirit Pilot flyback. Seiko team up with the Bamford Watch Department to create this sprightly little number. Very fun, best aspects of both. Cartier finally released the Santos de Cartier in titanium. No polishing on the bezel. This is the sportiest interpretation of the model yet. Timex Atelier follows on with the GMT 24 M1A automatic. Studio Underdog and Fears released the Mimosa for those of us who couldn't get the Manhattan. A yellow gold Rolex 6062 sells for $6.2 million, making it the third most expensive Rolex ever sold. Tissot begins November with the PRX finally being available in 38mm. Man of the Hour debuts. This is a new doc series celebrating horology, hosted by Waco. Universal Genève revives a tribute to Compact's chronographs, taking inspiration from the watch famously worn by Nina Rindt. Breguet continues their 250-year anniversary with the new Classique regulator 7225. LVMH buys minority stake in Swiss movement maker La Joux from Citizen Group. Norcane scores a bar down with a multi-year sponsorship deal with the NHL. GPHG was fabulous as always, with Breguet receiving the most coveted prize with the Classique subscription 2025 as they celebrate the brand's 250-year anniversary. Other winners include Daniel Roth, Gerald Genta, Beauvais, Angelus, and Chopard. Mid-November, the US and Switzerland reach a milder tariff agreement, bringing the rates down to 15% rather than the punishing 39%, and this is great news for the industry. Dubai Watch Week featured over 90 brands, and it was the biggest year to date. Brands unveiled novelties, but the big USP of Dubai Watch Week is how laid back it is. Brands are very accessible, and I would say it's the best watch show I've ever been to, far and away. Tudor released the Ranger in a new colorway, Dune. Chopard ups their game with their most complicated chiming watch to date with the LUC Grand Strike. Urwerk and Ulysse Nardin join forces to release the UR Freak, limited to only 100 pieces. This is a collaboration done right. H. Moser debuts the Streamliner Perpetual Moon Concept Meteorite. Christopher Ward introduces a loomed-out Belcanto, Veritron. Omega overhauls the Seamaster Planet Ocean line. Gone is the helium escape valve, thinner case, feeling like an entirely new line. Breguet close out the month with a quiet release of the reference 7365-minute repeater. It's December. It's Breguet again. This is the piece of the year. Breguet unveiled a new line of watches in tandem with their 250-year celebration. This is the experimental 10 Hz magnetic constant force natural escapement tourbillon. Shock emoji. Vacheron Constantin is also celebrating a big anniversary with 270 years, and they showcase 3 new perpetual calendar ultra-thin traditionals, 36.5mm. Tag Heuer teams up with Fragment, yet again, with a new pared-back Carrera chronograph. Francis Coppola sells his personal FFX FP Journe for $10.65 million. This is record-breaking and the most expensive FP Journe ever sold. NOMOS introduces more Club Sport World Timers, this time called Rome, in a light and airy interpretation. And that's it. That's 2025 wrapped. It's amazing how much happens in a year. How many novelties, the big watch stories, the industry shakeups. I'd love to know in the comments down below, was there any big watch news that I missed? Any of your favorite watch news? Pop it down below. Thank you for watching my channel. I hope you enjoy the content we make here just as much in the new year. Nay, I hope you enjoy it more. May this time be filled with joy, love, family, friends. Thank you so much for your viewership. I'm gonna go drink a Guinness. Have a happy new year.